Imagine risking your life to escape one of the world's most repressive regimes only to choose to go back. Why would anyone return to North Korea, a place known for starvation, surveillance, and prison camps? Since the 1990s, over 34,000 North Koreans have defected to South Korea, fleeing poverty, oppression, and hunger. Most escape through China, risking arrest and torture to reach freedom. South Korea welcomes them with citizenship, financial aid, and training at the Hanawon Resettlement Center, a facility providing a 3-month program of preparing them for life in the South. But for some of them, the dream of a better life turns into a nightmare. Officially, 31 defectors have returned to North Korea since 2012, but the real number might be higher because around 800 defectors are unaccounted for, some possibly returning via China. Some estimates suggest hundreds more may have tried returning. A 2021 survey by the Database Center for North Korean Human Rights and NK Social Research revealed that 18% of 407 surveyed defectors expressed a willingness to return to North Korea. Adding to this statistic, ABC News reported in 2017 that 25% of all defectors in South Korea had seriously considered returning home. Let's meet 3 defectors whose stories reveal why some choose to return. First, Kim Ryon-hui, a tailor from Pyongyang. In 2011, she accidentally defected while seeking medical care in China. She never meant to stay in South Korea, but once there, she faced a harsh reality. In Seoul, she struggled to find work and felt like a stranger in a strange land. She spent years protesting to return to her daughter and husband, even facing prison for forging a passport to get back. Kim said North Korean defectors are treated like cigarette ashes thrown away on the streets. Then there's the man from 2024 whose story shocked South Korea. In his 30s, he defected in 2020 but struggled as a janitor, unable to afford Seoul's high costs. Missing his family, he stole a bus and tried to drive across the DMZ, a desperate act to return home. He was stopped, but his story raised questions about South Korea's support for defectors. And finally, Ji-hyun, a former soldier who defected and became a TV personality in South Korea. She often shared her experiences about life in North Korea, but in 2017 she mysteriously disappeared and later reappeared on North Korean propaganda TV, calling life in the South hell. Experts suspect she was coerced or kidnapped, showing the risks defectors face even after escaping. Why do these defectors feel so out of place? South Korea's capitalist competitive society can be overwhelming for defectors accustomed to North Korea's regimented system. Defectors earn significantly less than South Koreans and face higher unemployment levels. Half report discrimination, like being told to leave a taxi because of their North Korean accent. The cultural shock is immense. Defectors struggle with ATMs, public transport, and South Korea's competitive job market. Some come from high-status positions in the north, like military officers, and have to work in low-status jobs in South Korea, which feels humiliating. Defectors often lack community in South Korea. In most cases, their families remain in the north. Over time, the loneliness and cultural differences that have formed over the last 8 decades make them nostalgic for their hometown. And for others, North Korea's propaganda showing defectors returning to a welcoming homeland without being punished can be compelling. What happens when defectors return to North Korea? It's a mixed fate shaped by the regime's need for control and propaganda. Not all returning defectors are sent to prison. Some are shown on TV for propaganda purposes. When Ji-hyun returned, she was broadcasted on state TV where she praised the North and denounced the South's dog-eat-dog lifestyle. North Korea often promises generous rewards and no punishment for those that return. These returnees are often used to deter others from defecting, giving lectures or national tours about the South's hardships. But not all are welcomed. Many face harsh punishment, interrogation, torture, or even prison camps, especially if they're seen as traitors. Human rights groups report that returnees caught in China often endure years of brutal re-education or even execution. The regime's response probably depends on the defector's story. Those that go back voluntarily are likely treated better than those that are caught by the Chinese authorities and returned. Also, high-profile cases might be spared for propaganda. North Korea's borders tightened since COVID, making both fleeing and returning harder. These stories reveal a tough truth. Over the last 8 decades since the country split in two, the differences in society and culture have accumulated to the point that the two Koreas have little in common. Many that flee the north expect to somewhat feel like home since it's still Korea, but are shocked by how different the two countries are. South Korea's support like the Hanawon program helps, but for some of the defectors is not enough to bridge the gap between the two Koreas divided for over 70 years. Some defectors thrive, but others feel lost without community. North Korea's regime exploits this, using returnees for propaganda to claim life in the South is worse. This also raises important questions about the possibility of a unified Korea. Since the two societies have become so distinct, merging the two countries might simply not work anymore, but that's a question for another video. What do you think South Korea could do to help defectors feel at home? Leave your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more stories about Korea's hidden struggles. Thank you for watching.